Welcome back, YouTube. It is Zach the Ripper back with another Wuchang Fallen Feathers build. Before we get started, go ahead and hit subscribe on the channel, hit like on the video, and let's go ahead and get into it. Now, in the YouTube landscape, a lot of people are trying to claim the most broken build, OP, or insane damage. I wanted to go in a little bit different of a direction with this build, and I think we kind of cooked here. So, guys, I want to preface this by saying that I am in New Game +2. You will see some pendants and some Benedictions that have +1 and +2 on them. I will tell you what I would recommend that you prioritize. And the wonderful thing about this build is you can get a lot of this stuff very, very early on from your very first cycle. So pay no mind to that. Unfortunately, there is no kind of a boss rush mode and no way for me to go back once you go into a new cycle, obviously. So all the footage you see here is from New Game +2 enemies, and the health pools are pretty high. So the damage that you see is quite spectacular, honestly. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so first thing first, we are prioritizing the Dark Frost Edge. Only for this move right here, the evasive maneuver, which is going to help us get all of our feathers, and it's going to get us out of danger. We know how this mechanic works if you've been playing Wuchang already. But for our damage, we are going to be running the Empyrean Great Axe, all right? Primarily for its weapon skill called Empyrean Crash. We are going to use that in a very specific manner at a very specific point in time, all the time in these boss fights, as you'll see. Now, depending on what type of boss or enemy that you're going up against is going to determine what kind of armor you should be running. If it is a boss that has a melee weapon, I obviously recommend something like this that has a little more slash, blunt, and stab mitigation. This armor set, not so much on the blunt, but this slash and stab. The centipede armor is really great if you've acquired that. If it is more of a spellcaster enemy, consider something with higher resistances and other mitigation to like magic, lightning fire. But the more important thing here is the pendants and what we choose. First up, this one, the Ludon pendant. You can get extremely early if you go and get the bloodstained letter at the top of Shoe Sanctum very early in Chapter 1. Bring it back to the NPC at the temple. You get this. This is an extremely high defense buff right here. Actually, 10 points to your overall defense with the base one alone. I know this is a +2. Again, I'm on New Game +2. So this one's extremely important in case you trade any damage. Remember, we're not really going for like some kind of like OP or broken build. This is about survivability. You're going to survive every fight from now on using this method and using this build. Up next, this is another very early one you can get in the Mercury Workshop called the Dracolic Pendant. I don't know if I said that right. Doesn't matter. Slightly reduces damage taken and prevents beast roars from making you flinch. The wonderful thing about this, the way we're going to be using this in battle, is beast roars actually count as a hit. They register in the game as a hit. So if you use evasive maneuver, which we're going to be using a lot with that Dark Frost blade, your character will automatically dodge the roar. You'll get an extra feather, and then you won't get stunned by the beast roar. Not only that, it obviously gives you extra damage mitigation, which is what we want to go for here. And finally, I chose the Nameless Eye Pendant, and this is a late game pendant that you can get. This one's not necessarily mandatory, especially because you get it so late. So what I would recommend, very early on, you get another one right here called the Gourd Pendant, reduces damage taken while below a certain HP threshold. I believe it is a 20% increase when you are at 30% health or below. Now, if you're finding yourself that you're doing really well with this build, like the mechanic is working for you, the battle demo kind of shows you how it's being utilized, consider swapping in for more damage. More damage is great, right? The Bravery Pendant later on that you acquire, and if you are going up against a much larger enemy, it's always good to have the Fiend Felling Pendant on right here. We're not going to be leaning into our spells or magic all that much, although I do like to run a specific spell, so I wouldn't rely on any other kind of pendants to account for that. If it is your first playthrough, this is really great as well because stamina is in very short supply. So consider running this as well. But the Gourd Pendant is probably your bread and butter right here, just in case there's going to be some opportunities in the fights to regenerate health without even having to drink from your flask. And I'll show you why here when we get into the skill tree. So the Gourd Pendant is really good. That way, in case your HP does drop below 30%, you get that extra damage mitigation. And then once we do, it's actually the Empyrean Crash, you will get a bump back in your health. So it's really good to min-max, and it just synergizes very well. Now, finally, for our spells, the Echo of Duntanga. I don't know if I said that right. I do apologize. Again, we're not going to be relying on spells all that much, but it is good in case we find ourselves an opportunity against a humanoid type boss where we can get a backstab, this build is not going to rely on getting backstabs really all that often. It's going to be focused around getting out of danger quite effectively and looking for openings and doing damage within those openings. But if you find yourself in a position to be able to do a backstab of some kind, this is the spell that'll basically give you a chance to do a riposte. Not only that, it is really good for like open world traveling as well. You know, taking out mobs of enemies if you get surrounded, 3, 4, 5 enemies. Really good. Extra fire damage is also great. It does burn stack of 50. Okay, and the Empyrean Crash that we're going to be using over here with the Great Axe actually also does some fire damage as well. So synergizes all pretty well. Okay, guys, here we are in the skill tree. This will be extremely quick. As you know, I am a new game +2, and I did grind quite a lot, so I am at max level. Please don't pay that any mind. You do not have to be max level to really pull this off, especially if you're in a new game. Don't get discouraged by that. It takes a lot of grinding. The first thing up right here, conversion. Conversion, when you're above 50% madness and you do a swift draw from one weapon into the next using the weapon skill, and you hit with that first weapon skill, you recover a little bit of health. So this is synergizing very well, coming right out of an evasive maneuver, okay? And then you're going to go into the Empyrean Crash with the Great Axe. You're going to do another one, and then you're going to go back into the evasive maneuvers. So you want this to keep recovering that health and keep you safe. And down here, we have another one called Unbroken Focus. When you're above 90% madness, the buff providing Biting Time will not decay 3 stacks. Biting Time is what's going to keep replenishing your Skyborn Might, or your feathers, rather, allowing you to continuously keep doing evasive maneuvers and stacking it up so we can do everything else in the combo chain. Now over here is not very important. We're not tempering our blade. None of this is actually all that important. What you want to prioritize is getting down here to this right here. Skyborn Might Cap right here. Skyborn Call. This is what pushes your Skyborn Might Cap to 5. 5 feathers is what we want. So the sooner you get down here, the better chances you have to pull this off, and you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. Now, it goes without saying that I kind of maxed the entire axe skill tree here. You want to come down here and do it as much as possible. Don't forget these nodes. Don't forget these nodes that give you actually 3. You can stack these just like this one has 2. All right, 1, 2. Just like that. So I made my way, and I prioritized, at least in the tree, extra endurance and the strength nodes. I kind of left some of the vitality stuff out of it because where I'm at right now, I have a ton of health. It's not really that important, but as you see, I stacked 3 right here. I unlocked some discipline skills. I'll explain that more why I did, just for the sake of the Benedictions, if you're in later game cycles. I unlocked a little bit of agility here. Agility is really not all that important when it comes to the axe, which is where we're going to get the primary portion of our damage. But this did lead me to some other nodes like this, and that's 5 points in strength. And there's more agility up here. Not super important. You don't want to prioritize that. But these bigger nodes that have the strength icon on them, you want to do that. And obviously it moved me into some other discipline skills. Over here, extremely important, Biting Time. This is what we were talking about in the foundation tree. You want to make sure at least this one is unlocked. At least. You don't have to go down here and do all this like I did. Obviously, I went into more agility and another discipline skill, but this is crucial, important. Make sure you unlock this. Other parts of this skill trees, I just unlocked more strength nodes, a little bit of health, endurance, things like that. So whatever will help complement using an axe, because it does require a lot of stamina. So that's all you really need to know. I only prioritize parts of this skill tree here where you see how I went over here and didn't go down. I just wanted the strength and more strength, more strength, more strength, strength. That's it. And then I got over to another discipline skill. So let's move into the Benedictions real quick, because they are extremely important and they will change over time if it is a fresh run for you or if you're into later game, and there's ways to squeeze a lot more damage out of the build if you want, or if you want to play it safe and run a lot of defense. Now, I don't have all the Benedictions, but we'll get into that. Let's go ahead and do it. All right, now the Benedictions. Here's the wonderful part. The Dark Frost Edge, you do not have to run any Benedictions in it if you don't want to. If you do, that's totally fine. But I'm running nothing in mine because I'm not even going to be using that for the damage, okay? So I'm focusing on the Empyrean Great Axe right here. What I have equipped is kind of like the best ones that I have at the moment for New Game Plus 2. I have Skyborn Ward, which Skyborn Might reduces damage taken for a time. We're going to continuously keep recovering Skyborn Might. So we're going to have damage reduction all the time. You can see how that's synergizing with your Jade Pendants. Up next, this is a very, very late game benediction right here called Skyborn Rejuvenation. But once you get it, towards the very end of the game, this is the one I recommend the most. Gaining Skyborn Might endows your attacks with Life Leech for a very short moment. Why is that important? If we're going to continuously keep getting Skyborn Might, and if you remember in our skill tree, when we do hit our opponent with the Swift Draw, the very first Swift Draw, which is the Empyrean Crash we're going to be doing right here, we're going to be regenerating some health. So why would we not regen that health and have a little bit of Life Leech at the same time? So it all synergizes, right? It's awesome. And last but not least, I have Skyborn Force here. Increases your damage during Skyborn Might, okay? All these will kind of fluctuate and change over time. Some of these are mid-game, late-game ones. Now, there are a couple of different benedictions you could put into this weapon. I don't have all of them here. That being said, I think there's two of these for the memory and the wisdom. There are two different benedictions you can get early on in the game that increase plunging attacks. Now, why is that important? Because if you see right here above my head, the Empyrean Great Axe itself increases the power of plunging attacks. The Empyrean Crash is a plunging attack. So if you find other benedictions that complement plunging attacks, please prioritize those. Or if you have any that reduce damage, you're going to want to equip those. If you are into later game and you've unlocked the discipline skills in the skill tree, like I was covering earlier, there are no other benedictions better in this game than the, let me find it here, the Tri-Disciplinary Force, the one that unlocks extra damage for 3 discipline skills over here in the memory. The 6 Disciplinary Force, which increases damage if you have 6 discipline skills, and finally 9 Disciplinary Force. And when all of these get equipped together, you get increased damage if 12 discipline skills are learned. So that's why I went through the skill tree kind of carefully and unlocked certain nodes only for those discipline skills. If I want to squeeze even more damage out of this method, out of this build, that's what I'm going to equip all of those and just min-max the crap out of this and get as much damage as I possibly can. And if you're a more experienced player, I would recommend doing that. But you're going to be out of danger so much with the evasive maneuver and the combo chain and how we're going to perform it. It really doesn't matter whether the fight takes you 5 minutes, 30 seconds. It doesn't matter. So let's go ahead and get into the battle demo. I think we've covered just about everything. And let me show you how we intend for this build to work. Okay, so first up, we actually have the Tang Palace made. And I know this is an extremely easy fight, but there's going to be a lot more here in the battle demo just to show you the viability of this build in many fights. And because there's not really a boss re-challenge, you know, I can't really do these as effectively as I would like to in other versus other games, but we can still get it done here. So remember, the more evasive maneuvers that you perform, you do get the recharge back. You see it at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. It's at a 4 right now. Now it's at a 5. That is actually going to replenish your feathers even faster. The idea here is to always wait until you are at 5 feathers. All right. We're already at 3. Okay. Kind of wait. There we go. We're at 4. And we're evading everything. Not a problem. And then we go into the Empyrean Crash there. And go into another one. And then we're back into our evasive maneuvers again. All right. And we're gaining feathers again. All right. This works for every single boss. Every single boss in the game. I don't think you're ever going to die again. And I know that's insane damage. This is a very easy boss. So we're likely going to take her out on the next volley of attacks. So, and look, we even charged to 5 right there. I love how that Empyrean Crash just tracks your target. It's amazing. Now, if you are fighting more humanoid type boss, and it's at the end of their combo chain. Sorry, if it's at the end of their combo chain, you can always lean into that spell and then get the backstab, get the obliterate as well. Let's see if we can just, you can like rotate behind her after one of these. Just like this. All right, and then... All right. Didn't quite get it, but as you can see, taken down extremely, extremely fast. Let's move on to another boss fight. Okay, so here we are at another fight here. The Master Raider. One thing I want to showcase, I'm going to take damage on purpose. And I want you to pay mind here. After I take damage and I do the first Empyrean Crash, watch how it recovers some health. And you will also see the boon come in for the Skyborn Rejuvenation as well. So we get a lot of benefit running the build this way. All right. There's 2. We can go ahead and up our regeneration for feathers to 3 right there. We're going to wait till we get to 5. All right. He tracked us just fine, which is what we want. Remember, you want to get hit right after this, right? So, perfect. Empyrean Crash. Watch the health. Look at the health go up. Right on the first one. All right, I did a 3rd one, but that's okay. We didn't need to do that. Damage is looking really good for New Game Plus 2. Like, extremely good right now. And it could be brought up a whole lot more. So, there we go. Almost at 5 again. There we go. Not a problem. Just playing it safe. Playing it safe. We're not going to die. We'll get back to 100% health. All right. How about a crash? Into another crash? And then we're out of there again. And we have a feather again. Look at that, dude. The game is going to be basically cheese at this point. All right, I know he has this, like, AoE attack, and it, like, happens, you know, this whole thing happens in the... There we go. Yeah, we're safe. We're safe from it all. It's kind of insane. Right after one evasive maneuver, go ahead and tap another. We're not going to run out of feathers. All right. Waiting here. Want him to hit us. There we go. All right, we can crash here. Go up in the air, do it again, and get out. This is so insane now. Remember, we're recovering health each time as well on the first Empyrean Crash. So, let him hit us. There we go. We want that. That's good for us. Now, if nothing's really going on, we can always kind of retreat to the other side of the arena, and then our feathers will just stock up automatically. So that's another really solid plus about everything we chose in this build. We're already at 5 again. Cool. How about a crash? How about another one? Even though the second one didn't hit, doesn't matter. Play it safe. All right, he's probably going to do his AoE thing again, right? That's okay. All right. We're back at 5. We're back at full health, too, no less. Can you imagine? Let him hit us. All right. 1, and then 2, and then we're out. Now, we can always follow this up with extra melee attacks, but you're never going to die again. Sure, you might take a hit here or there, but I don't think I've actually had to physically dodge even one time. All right. This is fine for us. Like, this is not a problem at all. All right. He doesn't attack necessarily that fast, so... Also, pay mind to the controller I always keep at the top of the screen here, so that way you can see what buttons I'm inputting as I'm doing it. Right? It would be L1. Right? Right after we get a perfect, then we do the quick draw. We do L1 again, and then we swap out. Easy as that, man. Easy as that. That strategy, that button combination will work on every single boss. Guys, if you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. I am on my way to my first 10,000 subs here on YouTube, and we've busted our butt over the past year to make it happen. Thank you so very much. Make sure to hit like on the video and leave me a comment down below and let me know if you've used any of the builds here on this channel. Until next time, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay deadly. I'll catch you in the next video.